So guys, the crypto markets are trading sideways after pumping up very significantly last week ever since Thursday after, some exceptions around the Trump tariffs and negotiations, not around China. And today pretty much caused a lot of deviations in the market due to stirs around the perceptions around these tariffs. Trump talked about how there's no exceptions, especially for China. And this has a lot of people anticipating how the markets are going to be opening up tomorrow with the futures and much more. Today I want to walk you guys through the perspectives in the space, price action that we're currently seeing around Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins, and exactly what you need to be aware of. If you're new to my channel, though, go and check out the rest of my content. I'm an intermediate trader documenting my journey since the beginning of 2023, showing you guys my wins, my losses, keeping you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action around Bitcoin, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and exactly what you need to be aware of so that you can position yourself correctly. Right now, there's a lot of mixed sentiment. We have talks of Trump talking about tariffs. We had negotiations last week and a pause on tariffs, which caused a lot of price action and a lot of green in the markets. But as of Sunday, we're starting to see some deviations, and I want to talk about exactly what's happening and what you should be anticipating in the next few days and weeks. Let's go and jump into it. So guys, like how I said, the crypto markets are currently trading sideways right now. Overall, the markets for the 7-day are looking, green, but for the 24-hour, we have been seeing some little bit of deviations. Bitcoin's currently sitting at around 84,700. Ethereum's currently sitting at around 1617. The total 2 chart is seeing a little bit of green after seeing massive deviations on Sunday, guys, which was today. We saw a lot of crazy price action for Bitcoin and Ethereum starting all the way on Thursday, guys. This is whenever we got the positive sentiment around Trump and negotiations with a few different countries around the tariffs, not China, but a few other countries. And this is where we started to see positive price action with anticipations on how it was going to be affecting the markets. We saw the similar price action with Ethereum as well, not as gradual as Bitcoin, but now we're starting to see some, capitulation, a little bit of green in the market. But as of Sunday, whenever everything started, it wasn't looking too hot. Altcoins as well have just been following this narrative, deviating quite significantly on Sunday, but we are seeing a little bit of a correction now. Bitcoin dominance is still sitting at around 63%, trying to get to that 64% zone, and USDT dominance is currently sitting at around 5.46. So currently have 2 resistance zones for Bitcoin dominance and USDT, but more than likely we could be seeing rip ups for these specific charts if the markets do not look too good opening next week. Well, not next week, this week already, tomorrow. Overall, guys, the sentiment in the markets is all related around Trump's tariffs and how it's having an effect on the economy, markets, countries, everything else in between. And right now, Trump just came out talking about how there is no exceptions and nobody is getting off the hook due to the unfair trade balances and trade deficit that we have been in with the tariffs. This is causing a lot of people to anticipate how the futures are going to be opening up tomorrow, guys, how the markets are going to be opening up and how futures are going to be looking as well. So right now, keeping up with how, news events are coming out from Trump, how, retaliatory tariffs are going into effect, and also exactly what's being affected is super key to understand how price action changes on a day-to-day. We've seen it multiple different times. Crypto Mitch now talks about his perspective in terms of the sentiment we're seeing in the space, and I really agree with this. He says the bearishness on the markets have hit the highest levels since 2008. The bearishness on the crypto markets are probably into ultra depressive stages, and it's so true, guys. Nobody cares about altcoins. No one's talking about specific sectors. No one's talking about the next biggest coin and this this and this team, all the updates that are coming out. Everyone's more focused on the price action on Bitcoin and Ethereum, what's currently happening on the macro events with Trump and where we're going to be heading, which is pointing to the fact that right now, guys, is a really key time and a key zone. But he goes on to say bear markets don't start with this type of sentiment, bottoms do. Bear markets do start when nobody expects them to occur and when the majority is still expecting to see massively high returns to come in. And this is so true. We saw it in the 2021 bull cycle and in the 2018 cycle, whenever everyone thinks that it's going to keep on ripping, and then that's whenever actually we start to see massive deviations and a bear market incur. But he goes on to say bear markets do start when nobody expects them to occur and when the majority is still expecting to see massively high returns to come in. Bull markets do start when nobody expects them to occur only when majority still expect further downside to happen. That's the case right now, which is super true with all the mixed sentiment in the markets, tariffs, how people feel around altcoins, Bitcoin, and everything else in between. Crypto Mitch now gives this perspective also around the price action around Bitcoin. And I think this is kind of correlating to all crypto analysts and influencers and calls talking about the price action around Bitcoin and kind of what we want to see closing out. Overall, though, he says, given that there's a strong bullish divergence on Bitcoin, the only thing we need to see is Bitcoin holding above 80K. If that happens, a breakout of this downtrend is on the horizon, which I don't completely agree with. Right now, Bitcoin's currently sitting at around 84,000, but if the markets do open up quite horribly tomorrow, I do not see why we cannot deviate below 80,000. We've already seen it jumping down to that 78,000 zone, and this is where it kind of has this next level, but this is where, you know, everyone has different perspectives in terms of the price action that we're currently seeing. I think anticipating, you know, how the markets open up is going to be super key to understand how the crypto markets are going to be affected, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum. Overall, though, I think, you know, this week and how it's going to be opening up, Crypto Mitch now also gives his perspective in terms of what he thinks is going to be happening, and I have my own perspective around this as well. I'm ready for another wild week. If Trump backs down, which that is not going to happen, guys. Trump is not backing down. He's already shown that he's not backing down, and he's just doubling down on what he believes. We might see yields fall again, gold consolidating some more, gold consolidating some more, and risk on assets like tech stocks, Bitcoin, and altcoins do well. Additionally, almost every central bank will open up as Powell speaks on Wednesday and ECB on Thursday. Exciting times ahead. So we have some big speaks, guys. Talks from Powell, FOMC talks, a lot of different things that are going to be happening this week. So it's super key to understand how these events are going to be coming out, the news, how everyone feels about it, and then exactly how the markets are going to be affected by it. This is why it's not only important to see how the markets open up based off of the sentiment in the futures, but also how we close out the week based off of specific events like Powell speaking on Wednesday and the ECB on Thursday. So this is super key, guys, anticipating how the week is going to be opening up tomorrow. Overall, though, also Crypto Mitch now gives his perspective on his price action around Ethereum and exactly what we could be doing, and Bitcoin trying to fight up into that 90K perspective. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of panic and uncertainty, so I do see massive deviations happening before we start to see, you know, actual good price action that we want to see. Overall, though, Benjamin Cohen talks about how the tariffs that are, you know, overall affecting the day-to-day economies, price action on Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin dominance, and overall, he is not stopping on talking about these specific, you know, events that are happening just because they have a huge correlation to the price action around Bitcoin, the US markets, and everything else in turn. So right now, there's a lot of crypto influencers and crypto calls, traders, analysts that have been in the space for a long time that are more focused on the macro lens of what's going on because it's having a huge effect on the price action that we're currently seeing day to day. And if you keep up with this stuff and you're aware of it, then you can have an understanding on exactly what happens in the macro lens whenever Bitcoin just crashes, or Ethereum as well, or altcoins. So right now there's a lot of different perspectives focusing on price action, some focusing on strictly the tariffs, others focusing on a more broad perspective. But at the end of the day, this is where I like to give you guys multiple perspectives in terms of people focusing strictly on the tariffs, others focusing on the price action, specific events that are going to be happening this week, and much more. Overall, though, CryptoCon gives us a long-term perspective on the overall total market cap of the crypto markets and exactly how we're holding support very strongly. And this is kind of where everyone starts capitulating their bags because we see massive deviations, and as a result, a lot of people get out of the market. So he goes on to say support on the total crypto market cap holding fantastically. It makes sense that everyone would become maximally bearish at ultimate support just as they have every time this cycle. It's also obvious that there has been no bull market parabola yet comparing others where the market cap explodes well beyond the trend. I think anyone that has given up will be missing the best part of the cycle. And we see, guys, the, you know, massive capitulation and support that we held in 2020 as well as in 2017 before the massive rip rip-ups and the bull markets that we saw incur. So this is where a lot of people that have already capitulated their bags, they do not believe in the markets, and it goes back into Crypto Missionel's perspective as to when bear markets and bull markets actually start. It's so true. I think a lot of people are anticipating more deviations, but if you don't keep up with price action from previous cycles and exactly what's going on, I can understand why you feel super bearish. But overall, guys, the crypto markets have been seeing some pumps in the last 7 days, but in the last 24 hours we have been seeing a little bit of deviations. My altcoins in the last 7 days have been seeing some gradual rips up, which is why you need to be investing in strong coins like the coins that I'm showing you guys right now, mainly revolved around AI gaming, meme coins, AI agents, RWA, and a few others. But overall, guys, swiping everything to the side, that's currently what's taking place in the crypto markets. There's a lot of mixed uncertainty due to the tariffs and Trump talking about exactly how there's no exceptions and what's going to be happening. People are anticipating how the markets are going to be opening up tomorrow, and if we see massive deviations, more than likely bonds are going to be yielding pretty crazily, and as a result, risk assets are going to be affected as well. And this is why keeping up with the day-to-day events and price action on Bitcoin and Ethereum and how liquidity is shifting is super key, guys. But if you're new to the channel, go ahead and check out the rest of the content. I'm an intermediate trader showing you guys the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and exactly what you need to be aware of so that you can understand what's going to be happening tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. If you don't understand this, you see altcoins get hit, you see a lot of negative sentiment in the markets, and then you think you need to capitulate your bags, and it's just because you don't have an understanding on how liquidity shifts, the indicators you need to focus on, and the sentiment, and where you need to pretty much just shut out all the noise, sit on your hands, and wait for price action. But on this YouTube channel, guys, I'm gonna keep you guys updated with everything you need to be aware of, from how liquidity is moving, the altcoins you need to be investing in, the day-to-day news and sentiment, and exactly how to shuffle throughout all that. But if you're new to the channel, drop me a comment, like, subscribe, let me know what you guys think of my perspective. Let me know what you guys think of the state of the markets. What do you think is going to be happening? When is altcoin season going to be happening? I love to hear everyone's perspective and where they're at on the journey. But go check out the rest of my content. Drop me a comment, like, subscribe. I just got a new phone, Galaxy S25 Plus. So right now, guys, I'm figuring out all the ins and outs of the camera. So also drop your perspective on how it looks compared to previous videos. If you haven't watched previous videos, go watch those other videos. But I'm gonna drop more daily content every day, and pretty much how the markets are opening up tomorrow is super important. So stay tuned, and hopefully, guys, I catch you tomorrow. Peace.